thank you everybody for having me here. And I come here today, or I know many of you have seen the sign and asking yourself, who's this way God? You know, what is he about? Why he's trying to run? Well, the reality is this. 32 years ago, my father came to this country, and he had to work 2 minimum wage jobs to take care of 7 children. I'm the last one. He is the first one. And my issue is just that, first, he's okay because we can help him. He has worked hard. He did everything that he could so he can give us an education, give us the means that we need to get to where we are, so we can help. But the problem is, 32 years later, we have the same problem. 32 years later, we still have people working 2 minimum wage jobs for them to take care of their family. We have right now people working at Disney who are still homeless. We have people we have to deal with a 7 months waiting list for someone to get a home after domestic violence when one parent leaves the home and we cannot find another home for them. And they have to go to homeless shelter. We have 13,000 homeless children. And right about now, 75,000 seniors are going to sleep without knowing if they're going to wake up because they simply could not afford the cost of medication. This is an atrocity that we cannot take anymore. Well, this is me. I'm here. I'm a businessman. I'm a banking leader, which means that I'm in the financial industry. I'm a realistic person who understands that I cannot do this alone. That is the reason why I partner with everyone who has the people best interest at heart. I don't take money from lobbyists. I don't take money from corporations. And I do not take money from the NRA. And for that reason.
Good evening. I'm Chief John Wiener. I'm running for Orange County Sheriff. First, let me thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule and being invested in the community. So a little bit about myself. I was born in New York, raised in New Jersey. I went to a Catholic elementary school, public high school. Right out of high school, I joined the United States Army. I was stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, as a military police officer. Just to jump out of an airplane. While I was up there in Fort Bragg, the Orlando Police Department came up there to recruit soldiers to be police officers. I always wanted to be a police officer, so I jumped at the chance to come down to sunny Orlando, Florida, and pursue the profession that I wanted to be a part of. So I've been here, a resident of this county for 28 years. I attended the police academy in 1990. I've done just about everything you can at the police department, from full to being on a bike unit to drug enforcement, being training. We've reduced crime. We've reduced use of force. We've reduced officer-involved shootings. We've reduced complaints on officers from citizens. So why do I want to be your sheriff? Like I said, I've been a resident of Orange County for 28 years. This is the community that I chose to raise my family. We've lived in Ocoee for that entire 28 years. I care deeply about the safety of this community, and I really feel a deep responsibility to run for this office because I know I'm qualified. So all of you and all the voters in Orange County will have to decide, well, what separates you from the other candidates? So I'll go through that again. You will find there's a huge disparity, a huge separation in police executive leadership experience. So I'm chief of police at the largest municipal police department in all of Central Florida, the 4th largest municipal police department in the entire state of Florida. I command 1,000 personnel. I'm in charge of a $146 million budget. I have widespread community support, and I have led this community through crisis. I'm on the board of directors for the International Association of Chiefs of Police. I've testified before Congress. I've spoken at the White House on police-related issues, and most recently I was called to Tallahassee, one of the few chiefs that was called to Tallahassee to give Governor Scott law enforcement recommendations for the new school safety bill, many of which were implemented. I've been endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the International Drive Chamber of Commerce, the Orlando Realtors Association, Greater Orlando Builders Association, and many are endorsed or supported by every single mayor in Orange County. I'm also endorsed by Shaquille O'Neal and Clint Dix from the Green Bay Packers, and that's usually the reaction I get. But in today's day and age, the contention between law enforcement and some of our professional athletes is at all-time lows. So that endorsement is meaningful and powerful. So I have proven myself, I'm tested, I'm trusted throughout the community, and I'm ready to be your sheriff right now. Thank you. We've reduced crime, we've reduced use of force, we've reduced officer-involved shootings, we've reduced complaints on officers from citizens. So why do I want to be your sheriff? Like I said, I've been a resident of Orange County for 28 years. This is the community that I chose to raise my family. We've lived in Ocoee for that entire 28 years. I care deeply about the safety of this community, and I really feel a deep responsibility to run for this office because I know I'm qualified. So all of you and all the voters in Orange County will have to decide, well, what separates you from the other candidates? So I'll go through that again. You will find there's a huge disparity, huge separation in police executive leadership experience. So I'm chief of police at the largest municipal police department in all of Central Florida, the fourth largest municipal police department in the entire state of Florida. I command 1,000 personnel. I'm in charge of a $146 million budget. I have widespread community support, and I have led this community through crisis. I'm on the board of directors for the International Association of Chiefs of Police. I've testified before Congress. I've spoken at the White House on police-related issues, and most recently I was called to Tallahassee, one of the few chiefs that was called to Tallahassee to give Governor Scott law enforcement recommendations for the new school safety bill, many of which were implemented. I've been endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the International Drive Chamber of Commerce, the Orlando Realtors Association, Greater Orlando Builders Association, and many are endorsed or supported by every single mayor in Orange County. I'm also endorsed by Shaquille O'Neal and Clint Dix from the Green Bay Packers, and that's usually the reaction I get. But in today's day and age, the contention between law enforcement and some of our professional athletes is at all-time lows. So that endorsement is meaningful and powerful. So I have proven myself, I'm tested, I'm trusted throughout the community, and I'm ready to be your sheriff right now. Thank you.
And what they've given to their community. But I think for now, we need people that understand what it's like to live outside of government. Government does not have all the solutions to our problem. And to solve wages and housing and transportation and safe quality neighborhoods, we need to make sure that there's a wider seat at the table for everybody. And people who can bring different and innovative solutions, not the same old ones. These issues I'm talking about, we've been talking about them for a long time. And I've been on so many task forces and so many committees where we talk about them. And then what do 6 months later? We come back and we talk about them again. It's time to stop talking about it. It's time to start doing something about it. We have a plan to address these issues. I look forward to hopefully in the Q&A tonight getting the chance to answer some of them. But again, I thank you for coming out tonight, giving me and all of us the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you very much.
First-time candidate, and as I heard the candidate say that it's not a personal vendetta when we decide to run. We need to, I think it's due time for us to begin to rethink how we proceed in politics. It's part of destroying the establishment. It's not a personal vendetta against anyone. However, listening to those before me speak, I think it's important to say that silence is complicity or silence is consensual. And I like to be the person that you know that I do not give consent to things that have happened in our district, in our city, in our county. Two of those things being, I don't give my consent for continued police brutality or having suspects, whether it be homicide or whatever, to have their due process violated. I do not give my consent to continual gentrification that we see in our areas. It may be better in some districts, But these are things that I've knocked on doors and seen in District 6. There are people that live under trees. There are people that live nowhere. There are people that have nothing to eat. There are homeless that are being criminalized because some of you can't handle people being homeless. So I don't give my consent for people to be criminalized. I don't give our schools consent to be over-policed. Why in the hell do we have police presence in kindergarten schools? Why do we have resource officers that tear gas our babies? We should speak up and speak out to it. It takes a village. Where is the village? I don't give my consent, as Mr. Darius talked about, I don't give my consent for low wages. I don't give our consent to there being a transportation issue. We talk about Pine Hills being a place of where it's crime hills, but what are we pouring back into those communities where it won't have that look? It doesn't have that look, but corporate media, we have given consent to allow corporate media to say those things. Our present sheriff said after the wake of the Pulse shooting that he needed a $300,000 armored vehicle to combat crimes in Pine Hills. Pulse did not take place in Pine Hills. I don't give my consent to have our neighborhoods to have a bad look so that you can further gentrify us. We need to come together. We need to sit at the table and have discussion, no compromise, because I refuse to be bought. My list of donations are not from any corporate, as you said, any corporate foundations, dark money. It's a hard and long task to be people funded, but I refuse to be bought by anyone. And if we're going to have a voice in this district, we're going to have a voice in this city and county, we cannot be bought. If we're going to take down the establishment, we have to not use their tools, their language. We have to build our own table.
I don't think I've ever been this tall. It's kind of impressive. You won't even need to come up here. You're all right. Well, my name is Robert Prater, and I'm running for Orange County School Board Chair. I've lived in Orlando for 30 years this past January 26th. All my children have gone through Orange County Public Schools. And you're going to hear tonight that Orange County's graduation rate is 93%. Pretty impressive for traditional schools. Take them away, you're going to go down to about 8%. That's not bad. But here's what is really concerning, is our proficiency. Now, when I came down here in 1986, I moved to Florida to get away from my mother. True story. And I worked for Federal Express. And the owner of Federal Express is Fred Smith. And his philosophy is quality equals productivity. Our reading proficiency rate is at 53%. Our math proficiency rate is at 55%. How do we get to 93.8% graduation rate? We're finding any way possible to graduate students, which is great. But if you're at 55%, 53%, how many of those students are prepared for the workforce? How many are prepared to go to college? Do we need more traditional vocational schools? Now, I went to vocational school growing up. I graduated from Blinn Vocational Academy. Massachusetts is #1 in education. Still is to this day. So, a traditional vocational school is not what we have here. Every governor that has come out and has done ads on TV has said we need trades back. Welding is a big group. One of the top 10 jobs. 53% of our jobs in Florida are trade-driven jobs. 34% are college. Yet we are pushing all of these students into AP classes. We are pushing them to an area that they may not be prepared for. I've spoken to the fire department, I've spoken to people running the sheriff, and we need sheriffs. 250. Number, that sound right? Chief Peter? All right. But we need sheriffs, right? Okay. So you can go to Valencia and get these trades. Firefighter now spoke with somebody that is in charge of that. Valencia's doing. Valencia's doing criminal justice. Valencia's doing nursing. Well, then Valencia needs to change the name. They're not only a college, they're a trade school. So my platform is, I want to see more trades. I want to see better paying jobs. Channel 6 did a poll, 4,000 teachers. 79% of them said if they could find another job tomorrow, they would find it. And it's all based on pay. Our support staff just got a 4% raise. So that salary is $10 now and 20 cents, minimum. Poll just came out, tapping onto what they said. You need $34,000 income now to rent a two-bedroom apartment. $10.20 an hour. And they were all sharing. They thought that was a great stint. It's like, they ain't gonna cut it. Thank you.
Just to give y'all a little background of myself, too. Everybody's been saying how long they've been in Orange County. I was born and raised here, so I've been here 54 years. I'm very proud of it. I'm a proud product of Orange County Public Schools. And I've been serving on the Orange County School Board for the past 10 years, serving District 6, which is just a little bit north of here. And during that time, we've made some great strides. To Mr. Prater's point, we have increased our graduation rates to 93.8% in our traditional high schools, which is our large high schools. So all of them that you're familiar with, Evans, Jones, West Orange, Olympia, Edgewater, all the big ones. And then we also, our graduation rate, our overall graduation rate is at 84%, and that includes all of our alternative sites that we do oversee, and then some of our charter schools that we don't oversee. And the graduation rate, is to give it perspective, in the state is 82%. So we're even in our overall graduation rate, we are above the state average on that. And we won the top urban school district in the nation in 2014 as the Road Prize is what that's called. And the way you win that is they come in and they research all your data and they look to see how well you're doing in closing the achievement gap for students and public. So we're very proud to win that. So a lot of good things have been going on. We've been moving in a positive direction during my time. And I want to continue that momentum. I want to continue to keep our schools safe and secure so that we have a safe learning and working environment for our students and our families. I want to continue to increase our CTE offerings, which is our career technical offerings. We do have Orange Technical College, which has 5 different campuses, and the students, once they complete 10th grade, if they have completed what is required by the state as far as their testing, which unfortunately we have no control of that, we just have to implement it, they then can apply and go to those technical sites, and we do offer all kinds of wonderful trades. And one of them, to Mr. Perry's point, is welding. And we're actually opening a new facility next fall, 2 years once it opens, so we'll be able to offer more construction maintenance positions such as welding. So I also want to continue to support our teachers and completely give them adequate resources, including their increased funding for their classrooms and their increased pay and decreased workload. I know teachers are stressed out. There's a lot going on with the assessments out there and their merit pay law that was passed back in 2011 is important for our teachers. So what people don't realize is at the end of this election cycle, of our 8 school board members, 4 of these seats will be brand new board members, having never served before, because 4 of the seats are open. So those will be having no experience at all. So I feel that I'm ready to hit the ground running on day one with my education experience for the last 10 years serving on the school board to be the person to guide its new members and have a smooth transition so that we can continue on the positive trajectory that we've been on. So I appreciate your support. I'm Nancy Robinson. I'm running for school board chair in August. Thank you.
I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm State Representative Bruce Antone, and I've represented this community for the past 10 years. I've been involved in this community of Pine Hills, West Orlando, Richmond Heights, Washington Shores for the past 25 years. I've got a long career in politics. Started off as chief of staff to now, I think I'm Buddy Dyer, and then I've served in the House of Representatives for 10 years. One thing I want to do, and this is part of me talking about my accomplishments, is I want to acknowledge my 2 staff folks. So Pam Newton, raise your hand. Then Carolyn Austin, raise your hand. And the reason I acknowledge them is because one of the things I do in my office is pride myself on student services. And so I don't care what issue you call my office about, we try to help you. And so I just want to go down the list of stuff that we do. But mainly it's my two staff folks that do all the work. But we do code enforcement. So if somebody got a code enforcement issue in their community, that is what we do. Folks call my office about incarcerated family members. We do what we can to make sure they get moved to the next prison, that they're safe, or what have you. Folks call my office about driver's license. We help them with that. Folks call my office about ditches and overgrown grass. We do that. Trash. We do that. Out in Pine Hills a couple of years ago, man, they were evicting folks out of their houses left and right. We had a whole household full of furniture just sitting on the curb. It was 100 different houses. They had the entire household of furniture sitting out on the curb. So nobody addressed that problem, so we went and took care of that. We had a community where 70 and 80-year-old folks were no longer getting mail delivered to their house. So the post office came in, put up some rack mail boxes, made 70 and 80-year-old folks walk 2 and 3 blocks to get their mail. We worked with Senator Bill Nelson's office, actually. We got involved, and we were able to get their mail delivery restored to their house. A couple of years ago, there was a big issue over in the Washington Shores community. They were demolishing a whole apartment complex. Now, I knew that apartment complex had asbestos. And so the residents started complaining about the dust. So if you went up to Orange Center Elementary School, I mean, it's just a dust cloud hanging over the campus, and you saw all these little kids out there. Man, I started choking, and I was in the car with windows open. So reached out to Mayor Dyer's office strategically at 4:55 p.m. on a Friday and said we got a problem. So they sprung into action, and so we were able to get that problem taken care of. I'm trying to think. And then one of the biggest accomplishments, y'all might not think it's a big accomplishment, but they were trying to relocate the Orlando Union Rescue Mission from downtown. And they were trying to put it over next to the Liquor Masters. Can y'all imagine putting a homeless shelter next to the Liquor Masters? And so after about 2 or 3 months of some brutal hand-to-hand combat, with the county commission and the city, we were able to stop that. So we kept that out of the community because, again, there was a lot of homeless folks coming into the community. So those are some of the things I've done. Got my time already? There you go. Well, thank you. I just hope that you all will re-elect me. I think I've done an excellent job representing the community. If you want to call me, I got a long list of accomplishments, budget items, what have you. But I think I've done a great job representing the community, and I ask for your support one more time. Thank you so much.